Hey everyone, welcome to A Bluer Nation. My name is Jerry Foley. I'm the senior editor of the Giant Insider newspaper, and with me as always is Chris Bisignano, the beat writer for the Giant Insider. Our last podcast we discussed what I was calling kind of the debacle in Dallas, and I apologize. I'm a little under the weather, so Chris is going to help me get through this. And now we're gonna preview the Houston Texans Sunday, and I'm of the belief that we're going to see the same old, same old. I don't know if Chris disagrees with me, but I think first, Chris, coming off of two losses, the second one of which the Giants did not play well, I'm looking at this as potentially a nightmare matchup. It looks like Jadeveon Clowney is going to play. There's always J.J. Watt, who's ridiculous, and Whitney Merciless, who, I just wanted to draft him because his last name was Merciless a couple years back. So tell me why I'm wrong, because I'm of the belief that the Giants are going to go down there and lose. I don't know. Look, spoiler alert, guys. We're going to do our picks as we always do. I'm telling you right now, I think the Giants are going to lose 34-10 in this one. Tell me why I'm wrong and why everyone should tune into this one.
Did you just say 34-10?
Yes, I think it's going to be ugly. But
okay.
Look, you're around these guys. You know what? Tell me why I'm wrong, and convince me, buddy. Convince me why I'm wrong.
Okay, just one quick thing. You named some of the Houston Texans. They also have it up and coming, Jack Cunningham, the linebacker.
Remember yeah, that's right, from Vanderbilt. From Vanderbilt a couple years ago, right?
Yeah, the Giants are eyeing him, if you remember. They kind of liked him, too. A lot of people thought he was too thin.
You know what, Chris? We liked him. Jerry Reese didn't like him, but go ahead, buddy.
Oh, yeah, you're right, but I forgot. Oh, that's right. Wait a minute, he was a linebacker. No, it can't be. Right, you're right.
Right. We didn't draft linebackers with Jerry Reese, at least not until round 6.
Right. I think he was a kid the Giants thought was a little too thin or something like that, and here he is. He's probably going to make the Pro Bowl this year because he's off to a great start. But besides that, okay, you have them losing 34-10. Did I hear that?
Something like that. 34. If they score 17, it'll be a garbage touchdown at the end. But hey, listen, I'm sorry to be so down, but this is what this team's giving me now, and I just look. You can't judge our fandom. We love the Giants, but after what I saw Sunday and how overmatched they were against Dallas's line, and you know what, you called it. Dallas was going to give them trouble, but I don't know how they're going to contain that pass rush of Houston.
Okay, they're going to contain it. I'll tell you right now. They're going to contain it with their running game. Okay, right now I can hear people listening going, "Hey, Chris, have you lost your mind? They can't run the ball." Okay, well, I did see a Tennessee team run the ball pretty effectively against the Texans last week, and the Titans didn't have their 2 starting tackles. Okay? I think Saquon, you right there, bud?
Oh, yeah, I'm sipping tea, buddy. Sorry, guys. Go ahead, buddy.
I think Saquon is going to have a big game on the ground. I think that's going to enable Eli to get a little extra time this game, and I think Odell's going to hurt this weak Texan secondary, and the Giants are going to pull off an upset, my friend. And I'm going to laugh at you at the next podcast. I'm going to remind you how you said they're going to lose 34-10.
Hey, look, you can if they win. You can laugh at me all you want. I'll take it. I just because it's kind of the same story as last week, right? Like they're going against a secondary that shouldn't be able to stick with Beckham, Shepard, Ingram, and you know what? I got to take Shepard out of that equation until he has a game where he's worthy of me talking about him in an OBJ Ingram light, right? Because right now he's I don't know what it is, but they're not getting him the ball. I don't know if it's look. He had some drops in Jacksonville. Doesn't look like he's getting much separation. So I'm going to stop saying Shepard. It's OBJ and Ingram right now as the weapons in the passing game, and I just it seems like it's the same type of situation where they're going against a very weak secondary, but fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I just it is what it is. But
yep.
Are you what concerns you? You have to look at the Giants line, and you're saying Beckham's going to break free and Barkley's going to get going. So you're saying the running game is what's going to kind of galvanize the Giants.
Yeah, Jerry. I just listen. This is just my opinion. I think the Giants are going to be able to run the ball this week effectively enough to give Eli some time with his play action. I think you're going to see a few bootlegs this week. Something he did in the preseason, if you remember right. I think you're going to see Odell have a big game, and the Giants are going to I think they're going to move the ball more than people think. Okay, look at the Texan defense. Watt's playing well, not great. Clowney's, he's coming back, but he's got the bad back.
Clowney reminds me. Clowney's always been the guy. Clowney reminds me of the guy that is so physically gifted that it's come so easy to him all through.
Yeah.
Pop Warner, college, or high school, college. Then he got to the pros and he had some injuries. He's such a ridiculous talent. He was drafted 1. I think Khalil Mack was 2 in that draft. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that was the Odell draft. Clowney,
that was the Odell draft. Yeah,
Clowney he's such a ridiculous, freakish talent. But for him, for me, I would just question not his effort. That's the wrong word. But I think it's probably come so easy for him throughout his life. When he got to the NFL, I wouldn't say he was in for a rude awakening, but it took him a while to get going. But I mean, dude, I think now he's one of the best. They basically line him up at defensive end, pass rushing defensive ends in football when he's healthy and playing.
Yeah. Listen, like you said, Joey, the beginning of his NFL career wasn't so good. He had some injuries, but last few years he's shown flashes, right, of being that number 1 pick.
Yeah,
that talent.
And I remember when he came out. I remember when he came out, he was the kind of guy that if you passed on him and took someone else, it was one of those things where it was going to be you passed on Jadeveon Clowney. And look, I think Khalil Mack, you can make the argument, is better. But I don't blame Houston for not drafting a linebacker out of Buffalo. But anyway, sorry, getting off the path.
Yeah, listen, Clowney's playing Sunday, Jerry, but he's banged up. His back is bothering him. He was limited this week. He practiced full today, but he's not 100%. But listen, he's a talented guy, and obviously he's gonna, he has the potential to cause major havoc on our offensive line Sunday. And you got JJ over the other side, Mercer. So listen. Jerry, it's going to be a real difficult task. I like the feel around the locker room this week being in there. I just think the Giants are going to play much better than people think they're going to play Sunday.
Yeah, you said they were upbeat and they weren't down on themselves, which I think is awesome. And I think that's a reflection of Shermer and why we still think he's the right guy. And look, man, the Giants can go 1-15, 0-16, which they won't. But I would still say Shermer should come back. He's the coach of the future for this team. And whether it's Manning or whether it's Drew Lock next year or somebody else. And I'm trying to throw dirt on Manning, but no matter who it is, I think Shermer's the right guy for this team. And the professionalism he exudes, I'm happy about that. But are you concerned with if Barkley gets going? Are you still concerned with Manning and the way look, the line's not blocked for him, but I keep saying I think he's shell-shocked. Are you concerned with his ability to continue to look down the field and find his playmakers?
Yeah, well, listen, that's definitely a concern with Eli. But at the same time, Jerry, I think that if he gets into that rhythm in the beginning of a game where he gets some time and he gets a good feel of the pocket, he gets a running game, I think he'll be all right. I understand what you're saying. I was the first one to say he looked punch drunk last week. He wasn't looking down the field, but he was under siege from the first.
Right. In his defense, he didn't have much of a chance.
Right, he didn't have much of a chance. And listen, me and you, we did point out the few chances he had, he didn't hit. But obviously, it's a thing where it'd be interesting to see what Sherman does. Does he come out and try to stick to that run game and and try to do some quick hits with him and try to keep these guys off of him? But last week it was like from right out of the chute, boom, they were all over him. So let's see what Sherman does. Best way to slow down a rush game, obviously, is by rushing the ball. Hopefully you're effective with the ground game, and then you get some play action going. Maybe do some, do a bubble screen here and there, slow down. Maybe even a screen pass here and there to slow down the rush.
Who's good at the bubble screen is Sam Darnold. He throws a hell of a bubble screen, Sam.
Yeah, he throws a real good bubble screen. Matter of fact, I think that's the only thing he's doing. I mean, it seems like Jeremy Bates doesn't want to cut the kid loose at all, right? That's
he throws 1 yard
you know,
passes, and then WFAN says,
yeah.
"Wow, he really, really slings it." But
Boy, you what a difference, because Mayfield came in, he was bringing the ball all over the lot.
yeah, amazing.
You know.
Is there anyone in the Houston secondary that concerns you? I mean, Tyrann Mathieu, I don't know how he's looked yet, but with Odell, with Ingram, and the other weapons we have, Latimer, Shepard, is there anyone that kind of stands out in that group?
Well, no, right now,
Right.
absolutely not. The Honey Badger's doing his thing. He's playing around the line. I was watching him. I was watching tape of him the first few games. Doing a lot of things he did in Arizona, playing around the box. Really hasn't gotten to the rhythm yet himself. Only 2 games in this new defense.
Yeah.
Listen, they got a veteran, Jonathan Joseph, at the other corner. He's looked like a veteran as far as looks like he's 2 steps slow. They brought Colvin over from Jacksonville. He's playing the other corner, and they got Kareem Jackson, a long-time corner, playing safety now.
Yep.
Not much of a test last week. Blaine Gabbert was the quarterback against them. Corey Davis had a few catches on, but a much different animal now with, Eli obviously is way better than Blaine Gabbert.
Yeah.
No, I don't see much. Obviously their game is up front, their front 7, getting to the quarterback and doing those things, But it's a game I see, Jeremy, if Eli does get some time, of course, that's a major F. He could do some damage to the secondary. But,
Well, one of the things that worked in Jacksonville when the running game was working was Eli's play action was holding him off. So, like you said, if Barkley can run the ball somewhat, play action should work, and that's how he can kind of buy some time for himself. I wanted to jump to the defense. I think we kind of know what we're up against on offense. Defensively, Olivier Vernon's not playing. Obviously, we knew that. You called that when it happened, 4 to 6 week injury. Eli Apple's not playing. My biggest concern, if I'm a Giants fan, and I'm a very big one, is Janoris Jenkins, and on the other side will probably be B.W. Webb, and then Deion's going to get some time. Yeah. I mean, there's some good receivers on that team. DeAndre Hopkins, Fuller. Would that be the biggest concern for you as well?
Oh yeah, no question. Because we talked about it the last time we chatted. Is that Janoris Jenkins has only been He's only been like mediocre so far. It's not like he's been shut down over there in that one corner. And obviously B.W. Webb on the outside. They're going to have Deion over there with the slot. They might switch it. That's been mentioned this week that Deion could play in and out.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's set in stone that B.W. Webb's going to be on the outside all the time. You might see Deion over there too if Webb's really struggling. You could put Webb on the inside. Obviously a major concern, Jerry. And Deshaun has all the time in the world.
Plus he can run. Plus he can run, right? I mean, this is the Achilles heel for any Giants defense seemingly over the last 15 to 20 years. No matter what defensive coordinator we have, if it's a mobile quarterback, we don't defend it well. And now it's with that read option. And if I see Kareem Martin pinch again and then Watson take off for 25 or 41 like Bortles did, it's going to be a very frustrating afternoon. And as many, I guess, questions that we have for the Giants offense, it just seems like I have as many for the defense in this matchup. It's a scary matchup, and I can't believe I'm saying this, Chris. It's a scary matchup with Eli Apple out. I never thought I'd say that.
Well, you're justified to say that, Jerry, because Eli's been our best corner in the first 2 games. So right now you're talking about a team, you're taking out their best corner against a team with 2 real good weapons. So I have DeAndre Hopkins as a top 5 receiver in this game.
Yeah.
And then you put Will Fuller, the old Notre Dame Fighting Irish receiver.
Oh, of course, he must be spectacular if he went to Notre Dame, right?
I wanted to make sure you knew that. I wasn't sure if you remembered that, but the old Fighting Irish Will Fuller, the burner, who had 100 yards in his first game last week. So that's a lethal. I shouldn't say lethal, but that's a real good combination. DeAndre Hopkins is good, Jerry. He's real good, man.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
And Fuller, who could really stretch the field. Listen, Jerry, I think the offense is going to be much better for the Giants this week.
Good.
And if they lose this week, I think you might see a 27-23 loss, something like that.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, it's a challenge for this. It's a challenge when you don't get to the quarterback too, Jerry. And you got those two guys running around in the secondary.
Texans running game, bud. Texans running game.
Number one right now. Right?
Yeah, right. I mean, that's got to be a concern. But if there's one thing the Giants do well, for the most part, and it's a little skewed because of the yardage that the quarterbacks are getting on their when they keep the ball.
The zone read.
Right. Yeah. When they keep the ball, they get 30. But it's just strictly handing the ball off. It seems like the Giants are doing pretty well with Snacks is the best in the game at it. Then you have Tomlinson and B.J. Hill. It seems like they're doing pretty well.
Yeah, listen, like you said, Jerry, those numbers are skewed. Bortles had that big run that kicked the rushing yards up. Last week Dak takes off with the zone read about 3 times. Watson could hurt him with his legs tomorrow. Listen, Lamar Mills is off to a good start for Houston. They come in with Alfred Blue behind them. They're running the ball well, and of course Watson's getting some yards. He had like 45 yards last week. Running, taking off.
And that's what I think that's the yardage that Dak had against us, 45. But go ahead, bud. Sorry.
Right. I watched the game last week with Houston. If I remember correctly, they only did one zone read with Deshaun Watson last week. He was strictly running out of the pocket. Of course, now I'm sure that's going to change Sunday with the way the Giants are defending the zone read.
Yeah, so hopefully they're dumb enough to do it once again. Hopefully, but we'll see.
Yeah. That'd be pretty dumb, Jerry, because if you look at the Giant tape, if you look at the Giant tape going back to the New England preseason game, the Giants have not stopped the zone read. It's actually been embarrassing, bud, what's happened to the Giants. It reminds me of that Coughlin game in Seattle. Remember, Jerry? Russell Wilson did it about 25 times and they couldn't stop it.
And that was a game where I felt the defense completely quit. I think they had. For some reason, I think they had like 280 yards rushing or something stupid.
They had 300 yards, buddy.
Right, okay, better. It's actually worse than I remember. Lynch got the ball, and the Giants just seemed afraid to tackle him. It was an utter disgrace.
Yeah, and Russell Wilson killed him with his own read. Killed him.
Yeah. That was Perry Fuel's last stand, I think. Right.
Yeah, that was like the final straw for him. Listen, Betcher talked about it. Obviously they're working on it. And if they continue to fail on this, it's because they're facing Cam in a few weeks, Newton, so. But I don't, Alex Smith could do it. They're going to see him twice. Carson Wentz, I don't know how much they're going to do because of his knee, but he's another guy who could do that. So, tell you what, but if they don't start defending it, it's going to get ugly.
Yeah, they're going to have to defend it because the whole league does it now, and even even Nick Foles does it. At least he doesn't run with it, but he'll keep it and kill you. So. It just seems like the league does it more and more, and we don't defend it very well. It has to be because we don't see it in practice. I mean, am I oversimplifying that?
Jerry, they're working on it in practice, Jerry. Yeah. Betcha they are working. Matter of fact, I even put it on Twitter. Yesterday, I'm at practice that was open to the media in the first half hour, and I actually saw Pat Sherman and Betcha having an animated conversation in midfield. And I saw Sherman with the hand motions, and it looked like they were talking about the zone read. And you see Betcha pointing and this and that. So I wouldn't doubt if they were even talking about it. They're working on it, Jerry. But you know what, Jerry? There's only so much. You tell these players 3,000 times, and you got to hope they execute it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Players. I get it, man. Players got to play. I completely understand.
Yeah, you got to execute, Jerry. Believe me, you can't say, well, Betcher's not coaching this. He is.
Right.
But the players, it's on the players. It's the players' responsibility to execute it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You know what? If Martin keeps doing it, as soon as Obi's back, you know what? Send him to the bench and keep that Carter kid out there. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. You break. 3 times in one game you're collapsing on the same play. Are you kidding me?
I know, and Carter's looked good, man. Carter's been, I don't want to say a pleasant surprise because Giants were high on him in the third round, but again, just to have a third-round pick contribute, we have 2 of them, B.J. Hill and Carter. Buddy, listen, I think we know what we're up against. We can start with our picks, and I've already said it, and I'll say it again, and kudos to you for convincing me a little more, but I think the Giants lose this one 34-20. How about that? I mean, you gave him another.
You're not the only one.
Gave him another 10 points for me. So,
You're not the only one, bud.
So real
What do you
quick,
mean
right
by
now,
it?
I
Not-
added up
Yeah.
based on memory and what we've
Yeah.
talked about. I added up our win losses over the first 2 weeks, and right now I'm at a +3. So
All right, Foley,
we
get
can-
ready because I'm getting a feel of these teams now. I'm coming after you.
now if we're gonna have to pick the Sunday games and Thursday because we didn't pick the last Thursday, right? The way we record this, it's after the Thursday game. But I did have the Browns and you had the Jets. No, I'm just kidding. I think we both would have said the Jets were going to win that game. So look, we'll I mean, fair is fair. I think we both take a loss there. I would have thought the Jets would have won that game. I don't think anyone was predicting. You were predicting. If you were predicting
Could we
Browns,
do
then
the?
good for you.
Are we on the honesty policy here?
We are.
Because I had the Browns. Okay, go ahead.
Then all right. You know what? Then I'm only up 2. Then all right. You know what? I'll give you the
No,
Browns.
it's all right. It's all right.
No, that's fine. I'll be a man about this. So Giants, Texans, buddy. What do you got?
Are we doing the Giants first?
Yeah, because I already said I thought they were going to lose, so let's just get it out of the way.
Okay, I'm going to stick with the Giants upset, but 23-20, I think the Giants upset Houston Sunday. I know I'm probably crazy, but I have a good feeling.
You know what, man? I hope you're right. All right. Bills, Vikings. I'll go first for the first 5, and then maybe you'll go after that. Bills, Vikings. Not even a question. I'm playing Kirk Cousins in my fantasy league. I'm sitting Cam Newton and playing Kirk Cousins. I think the Vikings win by, 27 points.
Yeah, I'm going to go with you there too, bud. Josh Allen against the Vikings defense in Minnesota is probably not a good matchup. I like the Vikings big.
And look, these young quarterbacks, what we've seen so far, excuse me, Darnold week 1 looked good, right? He didn't look great, and then he's starting to struggle. Mayfield last night I thought was absolutely amazing. Everything we liked about him. And Josh Allen, so far, he doesn't seem like he's grasping too much. And the highlights you see is he's using a lot of his athleticism. And, look, it's 3 games in, 2 games in, whatever it is. And it's going to change. And I'm not indicting anyone. I'm not proclaiming anyone's the best. But interesting to see the progression so far through the first 2 and now 3rd week. Packers, Redskins. I want to take the Packers. For some reason, I think the Redskins might bounce back, but I'm going to stick with the Packers in a close one. I think the Packers will win this.
Yeah, I agree with you. That loss last week was alarming.
Washington
lost last week.
By alarming, you mean awesome, right?
I mean, it was awesome for us. Yeah, don't get me wrong, awesome for us. I was shocked by that loss.
I was stunned. I didn't think the Colts had a shot to beat them.
Yeah, the Packers coming off a game they were robbed. They had the game-winning interception that called back because they said Clay Matthews, with that ridiculous roughing the passer call. So I'll go with the Pack again, buddy. I think they win. I think it'll be pretty close. I like them by about 6 or 7.
Cool. 49ers at Chiefs. This will be a good one. Patrick Mahomes, 10 touchdowns in 2 weeks, 6 last week. He's been absolutely ridiculous. His name was linked to the Giants last year before the draft. And then the Chiefs traded up, so who knows if we would have got him or not. But, Chiefs at home, you pointed out the Chiefs don't have a very good defense. That's what's going to be their downfall this year. But I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I'm going to go with the hot hand of Mahomes.
Yeah, I think this is going to be much closer than people think, though. I think the 49ers are going to be right with them to the end. I'm going to stick with the Chiefs, too, Jerry, in a close one.
Yeah. Raiders at Dolphins. Maybe the game I'd be least interested in just because I can't. I think Ryan Tannehill stinks, and I just you wonder when the Dolphins are going to move on from him. I don't like what John. I know the Raiders played well last week against the Broncos. I just don't like what Gruden's doing. I didn't like that he traded Khalil Mack. You're seeing Mack now. It's basically the Chicago Max. I think they might change the name. He's been absolutely ridiculous for them. Coin flip here, bud. I'm going to go with the Raiders winning their first game.
Okay, I had the Raiders last week. They blew it.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the last second.
You did.
I'm going to switch a room with you there. I'm going to go with the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins win by a close. I think the Raiders lose another heartbreaker this week. I'm going to go with Miami at home.
All right. Now I'll do one more where I go first, and you can go.
Okay.
Colts at Philly. I don't really want to talk about this. I just think the Eagles are going to destroy the Colts at home. I know Ajayi's out. I know that Clement's banged up. The running game. Sproles is out, I think. But I just can't see the Colts winning 2 in a row in the NFC East away. So I'll go with the Eagles 27-7.
Wow.
And you don't have to give the scores, but I just think it's going to be they're going to win by a lot.
Yeah. I think this is. Listen, I think Wentz puts them over the top. Listen, they're really short with weapons. They got to get their number one pick more involved. They talked about that tight end Dallas. Got it there. They haven't been targeting him at all.
And is Jeffrey back yet?
No, he's not playing again.
Yeah.
Mike Wallace is now out for at least 8 weeks. They don't have many weapons over there. They brought back Jordan Matthews. I don't expect much out of him. I think their defense will get it done. I think they'll get some turnovers. A pretty interesting X factor in this game is Frank Reich. He's a guy who knows the team in and out.
That's a really good point. That's what See, as much as you call me Rain Man with the Giants, you're that guy with the rest of the league. I forgot all about that. That's a good point.
Yeah, Reich is back in Philly. Of course, he was the coordinator for the Eagles, and if anybody knows the Eagles, as good, nobody knows them as good as Frank Reich. So I think maybe the Reich factor keeps a little bit closer, but I do like the Eagles.
All right, bud.
At home.
Now you take these away. Titans at Jaguars.
Okay. Well, I don't think this is any. I don't think the Titans tackles are playing again. I think the Jaguars are going to destroy it.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Titans get shut out in this one, to be honest with you.
Yeah, Mike Vrabel, pretty smart last week. Fake punt to get a touchdown. He did some trick plays down inside the 20. He realized he had to do some things to win a game last week. He did. He got fortunate. That's not going to happen this week, Jerry. Jaguars win.
Bengals at Panthers. What do you got?
I like Carolina. Cincinnati's kind of a fraud 2-0 to me so far. I don't like their roster. I like Carolina at home. I think their defense is going to dominate Cincinnati's offense. I like Carolina by about 10.
I agree, and I think McCaffrey's been. Did I see that he got to 100 receptions in his career already?
I believe that's true. He had 14 last. He had 14 with Saquon last week.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, I like the Panthers as well. I think I agree with you. I don't think the Bengals. I think the Bengals are more of a fraud. Kind of a paper 2-0 champion. Still at 1. Broncos at Ravens. This will be an interesting one.
Yeah, I think the Broncos. I'm putting them in the Bengal category. I'm sorry. I'm putting them in the Bengal category too. Yeah. That their 2-0 record is very won't last as far as the season moves on. I like the Baltimore at home. I think they'll rebound after that loss in Cincinnati. I think they'll beat the Broncos by about 10 points.
And Case Keenum only looked good in that last drive, I thought, for the Raiders so far this year. So, he's away from Shermer now, and this is how he's kind of looked before that, right? I mean, he really didn't do anything until he played with the Vikings and under Shermer. I agree with you. I'm going Ravens as well. The last of the 1 o'clock games. This will be a good one and very interesting because it's indoors and one of these teams is desperate. Saints at Falcons.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Falcons, they banged up on defense. I think they lost one of their tackles for the year now too. I like this. You know what? I like the Saints on the road. Saints are lucky they won last week. You look at that game against the Browns. I think they'll rebound this week, though. I think they'll get it going a little bit. I'm not really sold on this Atlanta team and Matt Ryan. I'm going to go with the Saints. It's in the Dome where Drew Brees loves it. He loves the Dome, obviously. I think they win this week in Atlanta.
Yeah, man. Again, this is another coin flip one, and because it's in the Dome, I would tend to go with the Saints. And when I said desperate, 1-1, but it's kind of a, like you said, they should have lost last week. The Saints were picked by a lot of people to go to the Super Bowl. I think you like them to go to the Super Bowl. And they haven't looked that way yet. Yes, you know what, man? I'm going to go with the Falcons at home. I think Matty Slush is a different quarterback at home than he is on the road. And I know that Drew Brees, who likes it 71 degrees with no humidity and no wind as well. And that's just me being bitter.
I know.
I'm tired of these quarterbacks that can't play in bad weather. And when these guys don't play in the Dome and when it's... Yeah, go ahead.
How much did it kill you last week? The Falcons in the red zone four times. Couldn't get one against the Eagles in a playoff game.
Yeah, no, it's the same old with them. It's the same old. And I hate picking either one of these teams, but I'll go with the Falcons. This one's pretty easy, I think. Chargers at Rams, 405.
Yeah, the battle of the home stadiums there, right? They're both playing that same soccer field.
Yeah, the battle of fans who don't care at all about either one of these teams.
Yeah, who could care less, right? I tell you what, the Rams have looked really good, right, bud? I mean, wow, they looked really good. So from the second half of the Raider game, all through last week's game, they've looked awesome. I think they're just going to be too much for Phil Rivers. I like the Rams too.
Yeah, me too. And I'm playing, and I'm not trying to put a fantasy spin on this, but I like him so much. I'm playing Cooper Kupp and Cooks, starting him. Bears. Wow. Oh, this one's Bears at Cardinals is another game I don't care much about, and I just again don't understand why Bradford's still playing. Who do you like? I think I know who you like, but who do you like in this one? Bears at Cardinals.
I think Arizona is going to play really much better this game. Now I know Chicago's given 6 points on the road. I think the Bears defense will be the difference in a close one. I'm going to go with the Bears, Jerry.
Yeah, me too. Interesting game from the standpoint of let's root against one of these teams. Cowboys at Seahawks.
Yeah, I tell you what. I like Seattle in this one, bud.
Wow.
I know they're 0-2. I kind of like the way the defense looked last week. They got some quick guys. It's amazing how Pete Carroll finds these guys, man. They're quick. Got linebackers filling in for guys that are injured. They're in there making active all over the field. I think Seattle. I think Russell Wilson's going to show his greatness. It will be the difference in this game. I like Seattle in a close one, bud.
Good stuff. I'm going with the Cowboys just because I'm going to round out my miserable Sunday with a Giants loss, an Eagles win, and a Cowboys win.
Oh my God, with the Giant loss!
I know. Well, you know what? Last week I'm not fooled. I feel like Charlie Brown with Lucy. I'm just not going to be fooled anymore.
All right.
So, Patriots at Lions Sunday night. What do you got?
The Matt Patricia Bowl. Coming back.
Yeah.
Like
any other coach, you would say, well, he may know them, but I don't think you're going to say that with Patricia.
Yeah, you know what? They played better last week, though, in San Francisco.
Yeah, they did.
Lost by a field goal.
Yeah.
Stafford actually played better. But you know what? I can't see New England losing 2 in a row. It's going to be so interesting if Josh Gordon plays.
Yeah, right.
I like New England. Yeah, I think New England. I don't think Belichick's going to lose 2 in a row. I don't think he's going to lose to his boy there, Patricia. I like New England.
Monday night, I like this game because it's conference versus conference, and one of these teams is a surprise. Steelers at Buccaneers.
I think the Buccaneers surprises.
I agree. I'm with you. I should have said I'm also with the Patriots as well. I agree with you. I think the Steelers are a fraud. I think the Buccaneers. I'm not even a fraud. I just don't think they're that good anymore. I think I think the Buccaneers are for real, especially on offense. I believe in the Fitz magic.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to pick against the guy who beat the Eagles last week for us. I'm with you on that one, man.
Yeah.
Let's do go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm done. Go ahead.
I was going to say that let's do the Thursday game as well next week, just because I don't want to miss picking it. The next show will be Monday night, and we're not going to do our picks then. So week 4 preliminary Vikings at Rams, which should be a great one. Who do you like?
I like the Rams, Jerry. I like the Rams at home. A short week for the Vikings. I'm going to go with the Rams.
Yeah, you know what? I tend to agree a little. It is a short week, but I'd like to see this Ram team against a good defense. And the last time they played a defense like this is when they went against Philly, and Philly beat them. Now, Philly scored a lot of points in that game, but I want to see what they can do against one of the more elite defenses. I think I'm going to go with the Vikings. So I think we have like 4 or 5.
Nice.
I'm going to tally this up. I think we have 4 or 5 differences. I'm going to give you the Browns. I'll take the Jets, and I'm up 2. But I think listen, it's early, buddy. You still have a shot. So don't give up. Don't lose hope. You can hang with me. It's you'll get there. You'll get there, pal.
Yeah, the Giants are going to put me over the top this week, man.
I hope you're right, and I will graciously eat crow. But thanks.
Did you happen to check out the LT special?
No, because I was driving kids around to a high school football game, so I DVR'd it, and I will watch it the second this is over, which is why we're doing this podcast. What's now, 11:04 at night on a Friday night. We wanted to drop this at 8, but, duty calls for parenthood, bud. You know that.
That Lawrence Taylor guy, he was pretty good.
He was decent. You know, he was. You know,
Yeah,
and again, I wish there was Twitter around in '81 so that I could hear the idiots in the media say, "Oh, they should have took Freeman McNeil at that too." Not, you know, they let Freeman McNeil fall to 3. Are they crazy? So, and does
it bother you that it came out again this week that George Young didn't want Belichick to replace Parcells?
Well, because everybody has selective memory with a lot of people, right? Like, and again, nothing against George Young, but if you look at the '81 draft, he drafted Lawrence Taylor and he drafted, I think, Billiard and maybe Byron Hunt, right? Now, it was a 12-round draft back then. In round 2, he passed on guys like Howie Long, Mike Singletary. Like, now, when you take Lawrence Taylor, all you have to do is get one guy right because he's that good. And then in '82, he took Will Falk, and I don't want to go through all his drafts, but '84, '86, he had great drafts. So when you hear about the fact that he didn't hire Belichick because, you know, he didn't like that Belichick didn't dress properly, and I mean, George Young was a good GM. I don't think he was great. And the more you study up on him, the more you realize he like anybody else, he missed a lot more than he hit. But it drives me crazy. He liked Ray Handley, and it's almost forgotten in history by the George Young supporters. But what do you think?
Listen, you know, Young never was a big Belichick fan, and it's kind of you kind of wish history was different, right? I mean, you know, Parcells kind of wanted to hand it over to Belichick, and Young didn't like him, and the reasons he didn't like him, one of them was that he didn't think he was going to handle the press, you know, and some other stupid.
Well, he was
reasons.
He was right about that. But when you win, it doesn't really matter what you do with the press. I mean, And Parcells wasn't warm and fuzzy with him, but he was funny, so he got away with it.
Yeah.
But but I listen. I'm obviously a little bitter about the fact that we chose Ray Handley instead of Belichick, and I didn't mean to go off on a George Young tangent, but when you look at his drafts, man, I remember a lot of first-round busts. I mean, we kill Reese for the 3rd round, but I remember Derek Brown and Cedric Jones and Tyrone Wheatley and Thomas Lewis, and I could go on and on. Jared Bunch, and my God.
Yep.
But
who was the guy with the one eye? Who was the guy with the one eye?
Yeah, Cedric Jones out of Oklahoma. And that was the draft, real quick, that was the draft where the first 4 picks went completely wrong because we wanted either Kevin Hardy, Jonathan Ogden, Simeon Rice, or Keyshawn Johnson. And they were picking 4. Those teams were 4 ahead of us. And it was 5th, and I thought, all right, well, we'll get Terry Glenn. And instead, George Young pulled Cedric Jones out of his ass. But it is what it is.
Yeah, right.
But listen, I'm going to go with your positivity. Let's end on a good note that Chris thinks the Giants win. What was it, 23-20?
23-20. I'm going to go with that, yeah.
All right, buddy. We'll end it at that. All right, everyone, be sure to order your copy of the Giant Insider newspaper. Go to www.giantinsider.com or visit magster.com for a digital subscription. That's magzter.com. Yearly subscriptions are $39.95 for paper copies, and digital copies are $17. 14 issues, as we are bi-weekly during the season and monthly in the off-season. The next podcast, you know what? We're going to do it Monday, right? We're going to do it Monday. I believe that's the 24th. Yep. That way we can have either the joy or the venom that the Giants are going to bring to us after that game's over. Thanks, everybody, for listening to A Bluer Nation. I'm Jerry Foley. He's Chris Bisignano. And remember, Sundays are Giant days. Take care, everybody.
Take care, everybody.